Hello again and welcome back to our course on Project 2019. In this section we're going to look at tracking costs on a project, and that is partly at least in preparation for the next section. Now earlier on in the course we did a little bit of progress tracking and we marked 3 or 4 tasks as being complete, and you can see those with a tick next to them in that left hand column. And we did an update to the end of April. Now what I want to do is sort of leap forward in time now, and I'm going to leap forward in time to the end of June. And I'm going to pretend that June has come and gone, and I'm doing an update on the wedding project to the end of June. Now first of all, let's take a quick look at the project information and jump down into statistics. And what you'll see in here at the moment are the actuals for duration and work, but we currently don't have any actuals for cost. So none of the activities so far have involved parting with any money. Now there is a very important point to bear in mind as we do the next progress update. Let's close that and jump back into project information. And I'm going to set the current date, which in reality is Tuesday, March the 19th, 2019. And I'm going to set that forward to June the 19th, 2019. And I'm going to set the status date to the end of May. I'm going to click on OK, and I'm going to do an update. And I'm not going to go through all these steps because you've seen it quite a few times before. So what I've done here is to record the progress. And as I said just now, basically the progress is going to be a little bit behind what we intended. Now I want to look back at project information and jump back into statistics. And if you look at the duration for the baseline, it says 190-day duration. And the actual 61.43, so about 61 days. So we've done probably about 42% of the actual work, but so far we've only incurred costs of about $60, which doesn't sound quite right. Well, there is a reason for this. Where you have a task cost that will be accrued, that will go into the books in the same way that the work and the resource work on a task goes into the book. So I'll show you that in a moment. But where you have cost resources and resources assigned to a task, even though when the task is complete, the cost of the work resources is accrued. Bear in mind, it might have been accrued right at the beginning of the task, but certainly when it's complete, it will have been accrued. So the cost of the cost resources is not accrued when you have both on a task. And what you have to do is go in manually and record those actual costs. Now, to be fair, it's very often the case when you're dealing with cost, particularly estimated cost, that you need to go in and record what you actually spend anyway. So for example, if you budgeted $400 for something, it's probably quite rare that it will actually cost exactly $400. So to some extent, it's very likely that you'll need to go in and put in a manual cost anyway. So now I'm going to go through the tasks in the wedding project where the cost of the cost resources should have been accrued. And I'm going to record those actuals. And I'm going to do this from task usage view. And again, let's just adjust these columns very slightly so we can see what we're looking at. And I'm going to jump down to wedding venue. Now the wedding venue is a resource. And if I right click my mouse in the details column just here, I'm going to show the cost and also the actual cost. And again, I'm just going to widen that column very slightly. And let me just drag my scroll bar across to the point where that actual task was happening. You'll notice there that that was the cost. $3,500 is what we budgeted. Now, if I hover my mouse over wedding venue and double click and jump to the tracking column, you can see at the bottom here, I have an opportunity to enter in the actual cost. So I'm going to say that this venue is now going to cost $4,500. If we just quickly jump back to general, you can see the original cost that we budgeted of $3,500. but the actual cost is actually going to be 4,500. So we're essentially 1,000 over. And click on OK. And you can see now that I've recorded my actual cost. And basically, when you're entering actual costs for cost resources on a task, that's a really popular way of doing it. But it's not the only way of doing it. Now, you can see here that the actual cost rolls up to the task itself. So where we have book wedding venue, you can now see that that's rolled up and it's added that 4,500. So it will roll right up to the project level. Now what I'm going to do is go through the other cost resources that have been incurred according to the update. And once again, you'll hear again from me when I've done that. And finally, as far as tracking costs are concerned, if we go up to the Report tab, there are a number of cost reports that you could try if you wanted to. So for instance, we have a task cost overview, a resource cost overview, cash flow, and so on. So it's definitely worth having a little experiment with some of these to see if you find them useful and helpful. So that's it for this section. I will see you in the next one.